Morning, sir. Sir, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You are facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. Shh. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. On February 5th, 2025, the officer responded to a suspicious person with a weapon on 5900 Gulf Freeway. The officer made contact with the defendant, who was 17 years old. The defendant advised he was inside Jack in a Box while brothers were selling waters outside. The defendant saw a male rushing at his brothers with a knife, pulled out his gun, and pointed it at the male while telling his brothers to run. The officer performed a search on the defendant, locating a 9mm Glock 19, and the defendant advised he bought the gun from a friend for $150.
I mean,
Yes, Judge. In this case, the officer was going off the fact that he performed the search because he indicated there was a firearm. So
he's going to the defense of others.
yes, Judge.
It's another person.
And it's just the way this is pled is because he's underage. He's below the age of 21. That's the way it's pled, Your Honor.
You hear this?
Hold on, I'm gonna go yell at somebody. Hold on. Don't know what's going on. Hi, Judge. Is this young man charged with unlawful carrying of possession for being under 21?
Correct.
Hold on, I've got a kit. Here's the GPS
But I'm
memo.
more concerned about the defense of others. Did you hear it? I mean,
No, hold on.
hold on a second.
Here's
Wait a minute.
GPS.
Let me give you a lawyer, Mr.
Yeah. Oh, I volunteer. I volunteer representation. Yeah,
Give me a record, can you fill that out? please?
I will do that. But here's a GPS memo saying that it's
Hold on a second.
unconstitutional.
You know, representative gentleman?
Oh, hell yes. Here's the Fifth Circuit saying that it's unconstitutional. Here is the United States District Court, Northern District, saying it's unconstitutional. Here's a motion to quash information. I'll just cross out the name.
Great job.
Yeah, I had to get in this fight yesterday and I'm teed up.
Here you go, Mr. Tito.
Thank you.
Judge.
I was
is there
gonna,
a PC?
yeah, look, you gotta be very careful. You know, God forbid something happens where you really dig yourself a hole. I'm gonna find no probable cause, but really, you have to be very careful. You know, sometimes you make a decision in life and it can really have consequences, all right? You know what that means, right? Are you in school? It all starts with school, man. You got to get back into school. This is not a good way to go through life at 7. The more schooling you have, the more money you're going to make. Knowledge is power, my friend. Do it. Make something. Make me proud. Please. It's going to get dismissed. Be careful.
Black from yesterday
And her name.
and Hernandez. Hernandez, you had given a bond to him for $25,000. The family has not been able to post it for whatever reasons, but he needs to sign the waiver.
Okay.
And then Mr. Black, you rolled from yesterday to see what he was actually wanted
Yes.
for.
Something like that.
So we're talking about Black now?
Yes, Charles Black. So it was a Kansas failure to appear. It was for driving while suspended and speeding maximum speed. They're not going to do a detainer, but it's Kansas only.
I know that. I mean, I get it. What do you think?
Because he has indicated to me that he is in cancer treatments at the not MD Anderson Memorial Hermann, and that he has a family. I asked him because there was an issue about his license, but his mother is willing to drive him back to the state of Georgia to handle these. If you could just admonish him, if the court is inclined to set him a bond, that
I am.
he's back
I am.
in 14 days.
I'm okay to send him a bond. I'm not. I mean, it's not egregious and they're theft cases. So
Your Honor, I do want to say Dave is still opposed to a bond, and if you granted
I
a bond,
understand,
anything.
but they're not gonna.
He'd be opposed to anything less than 5 figures. He did want to make a point that he was still charged with intent to deliver twice less than 10 years ago, which was a first degree 5 to life charge. One of which was a deferred that was revoked for a new
That's 10 years ago.
PCS charge. Let me check the date.
Oh, well, it looks like in 21, he had a PCS with intent. Guys, Deputy Miranda, do you mind bringing up Mr. Charles Black, please? Good morning, Bliss Black. How's jail? The thing is that this is going to continue to happen until you resolve those cases out of state. You have an open case in Tennessee, right?
Georgia.
I know Georgia, but you also got one in Tennessee, in that
Kansas.
Kansas. Both of those cases will haunt you until the day you die unless you go back and handle those cases. However, it may be all of just hiring a lawyer and reaching out to the courts in Kansas because it's a suspended license case. But it's always going to trail you until you go take care of it. Your lawyer's asking me to set you a bond, and I'm going to, but I have to make it sufficiently high that you realize that we mean business, that you have to go back to Georgia to take care of that case. Do you understand? You also need to understand that I don't play games. If I set you a bond, I'm only going to give you one. I'm not going to do this again. So if you bond out and you fail to go back to Georgia, I will issue a nationwide warrant for your arrest. I'm going to set the bond at 0. And if you don't go back, I set it at 0. I'm going to get you back. And this time I will hold you until Georgia comes and gets you. Do you understand? You have one chance to make this right. So what's the bond amount?
That's for $500.
Judge Fleischer, we're asking for a high bond or no bond, 5 figures. That's what Jay is requesting.
What kind of bond can you make?
Actually going through cancer treatment right now, so that's the reason I really need to get out, so I can do my treatment.
I don't know that. How do I know that? How do I know you're not just saying that? Regardless, you have to go back to Georgia. So
I didn't know I had this. Over my head, so.
what kind of bond can you make?
I can pay, I'm gonna be able to pay.
I'm good at 1,000. If you want 1,000, I'll give it to you. But I'm not going to play this game, Mr. Black. So this is an extremely low bond. If you don't go back, it's really not going to end up well for you, especially if you have if you're undergoing treatment for cancer. Because understand that if you don't go back and take care of that business and I have to issue a warrant for your arrest and we get you back, you're probably going to be sitting months in there waiting for Georgia to come get you. You understand? Okay. I'm set about $1,000.
Thank you, Judge. And did you tell?
Yeah, you have 2 weeks from the date of your release to go turn yourself into Georgia. Don't go on a plane because they're going to arrest you. You got to find another way to get up to Georgia, and you have to go turn yourself in. Do you understand? If you don't do that within the 2 weeks, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. Okay, Mr. Black, good luck. All right, so 1,000. Okay,
Son Jose Borrego.
you got the red?
Yes.
Thanks.
So, I understand that there's some issues in terms of child custody and all that. So what I'm willing to do is agree to no threatening or harassing, but keep the residency restriction because they don't live together. And I don't see a reason to allow him to be back at that residence.
He's currently going to hotels and motels so that he can abide by this protective order. It's been a financial strain on him. He's working, hours have been a little short, so it's just becoming increasingly difficult for him to continue to stay out of the residence, away from his child. So I'm asking that the resident.
My concern is the protection of the
Understood.
complaining witness,
No, Judge,
and
and I will say, I understand that, but given his prior assaultive history, the fact that there's an OR that, allegedly involves another assault after this date, I can't agree to a
I
residency
don't, what are
restriction.
you talking about?
He has 2 TDC trips for ag assaults.
Okay,
Um,
you're saying there's an assault after this assault?
So I have a note that there was some sort of assault involving the same complainant from October. I'm working on getting the offense report to verify
You know
what
about
that
I'm
this?
is.
not aware of that, Judge.
So I.
Come up, Mr. Borrego. Come up. I'm not going to allow a contact if there's a prior assault that you're alleging as well now.
Yes, sir.
95% of the people who are in jail now are there because they have no self-control. They get upset, they wig out, and they do whatever the hell they want to do without thinking, if I do this, what's going to happen? If I say this, what's going to happen? The idea that we have these orders in place are so that nothing else happens. The last thing we want is more mayhem and bloodshed on our streets. I mean, every single day we have someone dying on our streets because of no self-control. They're alleging that there's a prior assault with the same complaining witness. I get it. I know that you say no. I get everybody. What do you think? If I had one strand of hair for every person that said that, I'd have a beautiful head of hair. But I'm here to protect every person in this county at all costs. And they're saying you have this assault now. They're alleging so I don't want any contact. I will let you talk to your lawyer. You guys can hash this out. So hold on. I don't want you to talk here. You guys go out there, take your time. There's no rush. We have a lot of time to work things out. But if I have you charged with assault and they're saying that there's a prior one, it's just not going to happen. I get it. You guys talk, but I don't want you to have contact with this person. Don't. If I find that there's a protective order in place, you have to understand that an assault, you pick up a VPO, a violation of protective order, it's one of the worst cases. We can have a hearing to hold you at no bond when you violate condition on these types of cases. You guys go talk, see what you can do about explaining, but all right, please.
So Judge, as of right now, the state wants to we're doing no contact. We're going to leave the protective order as is. Okay.
I mean, it's
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
all right.
Okay.
Strong. If some time passes and there are no issues and he's alcohol and drug free, then, things can always change. But I got to know that he's alcohol and drug free, that he's not using, and that there are no issues, and he's truly not having contact with her. And after a while, but, hey, Sebastian. Well, right. They don't, I get it. Just, you have to understand, history plays a lot into this. So it's not, there's facts, there's history, there's a lot of things at play. What I was telling her is that, if some time passes and I see that he's alcohol and drug free and there have been no issues, then we can always revisit it. And I'm happy to do that. But I want a cooling off period. I don't want, I get it, but we're now in the most stressful time, and I don't want anything to happen now. I'm trying to keep them away from each other. And I know that she may need help, but the last thing I want is more stress is applied and then something happens that he just, so just let him know that if he's alcohol and drug free, some time passes, there are no issues, we can always revisit again. And then, I just want to,
Yeah, and I was, I wanted to see what this other officer's report says. Because the officer specifically said that it was in fault.
why were no charges?
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, but, in his history, he wants to complain, she didn't deny that anything else happened, he really wants to do it. And the video about it.
What?
There's,
You talking in the prior one?
no, I'm talking about arbitration.
This one, okay.
There's no big deal. I agree with all that stance. There's no big deal.
You mean,
I mean, we've had all.
you mean like body cam when he goes there, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. It said something about a garage
It is one.
Or something like that. I'm not sure what it
Right.
is.
I love every other to bring everyone.
We'll see what you can find regardless. Let him know with time heals all wounds, right? But my main concern also is that he's alcohol and drug free, right? And if I can test him and he's negative on everything, it'll go a long way, right? And that he's working full time so that I know he's being productive. Not just, I can let him know. I mean, it doesn't have to be months and months on end, but just show me that you're a good person. Show me that you're trying to better yourself.
I know.
Come up.
We want to do like a closing release, but I have most of it.
This isn't absolute, but what I have to know is that you're trying to better yourself. My main concern is that I want you to be a productive person. I want you to work. I want you to work full time, because if that's your baby needs food, man. Baby needs clothes. They still eat. The baby needs stuff, My other main concern is that you're alcohol and drug free. And if you can show me that you're productive, that you're working full time, and that there are no issues, we can always revisit it. It's never absolute. But I want to know, look, I don't want to hurt you anymore, but I want you to be the best person you can be. And when you're in that space, that's when you go back, because that's when you're the most helpful. Now, when you're all stressed out and all the shice is here, I don't want something further to happen. That's it. Okay. So look, it's not absolute. Show me that you're a good person. Show me that you're working, you're alcohol, drug free. Come back and we'll talk. All right. Okay. Thanks. Hi, Hugh.